Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time, and this is the Joyminder Leaders League, where we are all leaders, and we truly are. We are all in the business of raising up other leaders for the most part, or other businesses, and doing it with the help of an amazing platform called Nowsite. Yay. I'm going to start today with a reading. I just put this in our Telegram chat, but I came across this last week and I was so impressed. Of course, now let me grab my cheaters because the writing's a little small. But Bruce Lee once said, "It is not the daily increase, but daily decrease. Hack away at the unessential to do great things." Most ambitious entrepreneurs get stuck because they try to do too many things. More ideas, more marketing channels, more sales channels, more projects, more work, more time, more. But they get so caught up in trying to do more things that they don't have time or space to do the most important, highest leverage things that can take their business to the next level with much less effort. So if you want to win big, you need to do what Bruce Lee said. Find the few things that will make the biggest difference in your business and ignore almost everything else. Boom. What do you think of that?
That's stepping all over my toes.
It's stepping all over mine too. Absolutely. Yeah, so it's interesting because here we are, we work at this amazing platform, and what's one thing that it does all the time is new thing, new thing, new thing, new thing. There's a lot of new things, all the shiny objects, and many of them are really, really valuable. But, do we have, first of all, if you show them all to a brand new person, they're gone. It's too much.
Yeah.
That's why it's really ideal that we just share the My AI portion of what we can do. Don't jump into websites. Just the My AI portion is a lot. Now we've got selfie AI and Mimo, and we've got the regular, you can post a video, you can post a picture. Well, why would I use selfie AI or Mimo instead of just captioning a photo? I mean, what's the difference? And, to some degree, obviously there are differences, but where do you start? How do you bring people along in a way that they don't get overwhelmed, but also that serves them and their business in the best way possible with the fewest tools possible? So there's some food for thought for today. Second, I'm going to go through Now Club updates that I found out, the things I can share. So one thing that Cheryl talked about, she says, imagine a Mimo and a selfie AI baby,
Oh my.
right? Diana, you're spot on there. Imagine a Mimo selfie AI baby. What would that look like? Because you know that they're working on that to some degree. They didn't really get into what that might be, but it was a funny comment. However, have you noticed that the 504 errors might have disappeared?
Mhm.
I haven't seen a 504 error since last Wednesday, I don't think.
Mhm.
So
There,
whatever
there's
they did.
there's still some issues with Safari.
Oh, okay. So they're still working with Safari.
Yeah, but as far as Edge and Chrome goes, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and I haven't, okay, again, I'm not on my phone a lot for websites because I do spend a lot of time at my desktop. But they said that they're 95% done on the updates, so that must be that 5% working on Safari. And again, it's not like they probably took the weekend off. I think they're really, really, really understanding this has to be done. And to that point, I was able to ask a question that actually sidetracked us quite a bit in the discussion, which was, hey, when can we get a search button on our lists, because I don't know about you, but I have 800 lists now, maybe more, like literally. And when I want to find a particular list, I almost can't. I mean, settle in and start going through the pages and pages and pages of lists. It's really hard to find them. I haven't found a shortcut to getting to a list, if anybody has one. You can't get to the list from the website. And you can't search, the only way to search for the list is a drop down. So then again, you're, 800 drop downs. So that's not efficient. But anyway, where they went with it is that basically, they now know, because, I've been complaining for 4 years, but somehow when they bring in a really big hitter, like this really, really, really big, network marketing company called, which, I forget which one. That's
Herbalife.
Herbalife. Suddenly Herbalife wants to make the CRM their CRM. Guess what? Suddenly the CRM is going to get a lot of attention.
Yep.
Funny how, a few users complaining, and I'm just the super user that's complaining. But when millions of people potentially could be using this, suddenly it's time to make a change.
I was doing a happy dance on the other end when they
Oh,
started talking about the CRM.
100%. So here's what they said. Here's the things that they are going to focus on. And I think I'm the one who said it first. They're not sexy.
Yeah.
Selfie AI is sexy. Mimo is sexy. AI is sexy. These are not sexy, but when these get done, it's going to make a huge difference. So here they are in the order that I heard them. CRM. Yay. The CRM is going to improve because Herbalife wants it improved. The team section is going to be improved because we know that that's a big, big, big area for network marketing, is for team leaders to be able to create a team section. And that's where leader AI is probably going to live. Each leader will have their leader AI in their team. So it's not like we'll be able to hop around and get access to all the leaders. You have to get accepted into their team in order to see their leader AI, which I think makes total sense. And then analytics is going to get upgraded because, guess what? I'm sure my analytics don't work.
Actually, I was in there yesterday on one of my accounts, and they were functioning. It was I was like, because I go in there a couple times, sometimes it wouldn't even come up, and it was like I'm up there going, "Wow, look, it's working," and it was accurate, what we were doing. And now it takes a long time for it to load,
Okay.
but and you have to wait because it only loads parts of it at a time, and you have to wait to scroll down to look at it.
Well, I'm basing it on like the email analytics. When I look at an email that I know is sent out to 80 people every week, and it only shows it's been sent 144 times in the past. I don't know, is that in the past year or is it reset every month? Maybe that's what I don't know.
Yeah.
So I just know, the email analytics, the open rate, things like that, which really do matter. A lot of people want to know those things. That's part of what they're going to work on. And then they originally said it was those three: CRM, team, and analytics. But then they said, oh yeah, and mobile.
Yeah.
Because obviously mobile, it's just a big thing that mobile works well, that we have access. You're still never going to be able to create a website in mobile, although maybe an instant one, who knows? But adding Mimo and adding Selfie AI to mobile is a big, big, big priority because that'll make a huge difference. So one more thing, and then we have something special planned for today, but I did with Mimo. Here's the thought. I have created a couple videos on this. I'll be putting them out. I can can maybe give you access to them even now. And I did Mimo on a really good sales script that I found that somebody else had sent me. So I did what you said, took a snipping tool of the email, asked Mimo to create a post. It did. And then, and it was so good. Then what I did is I actually copied that. I took a screenshot of that, threw that back into Mimo, and I got a different version of the same thing, also quality, but different. And so for those of us who have multiple channels, maybe multiple Facebook pages, multiple Instagram pages, you want to put the same content out, but you don't want to put the exact same content out. You can use Mimo to slightly change the content. It even gave me a different image when I did that.
Oh.
So I
And
screenshot.
is this in your Vimeo account or YouTube videos?
No, I'm talking Mimo.
No, I know, but where you made the video.
Oh, it's in my Vim. It's a private video right now. I haven't released it yet.
Okay.
But I
Thanks.
will look for it. And if I have, if I share the link here in the chat, this is why you want to show up live, everybody. If I put it in the chat, then you'll be able to access it. And I do plan to get it out on YouTube either today or tomorrow because it's a hot new topic. And that's what we should be putting out there, right? So I did have some fun playing with Mimo on Friday. And then the weekend was all personal. I actually didn't sit at my desk once this weekend. It was nice. And speaking of goals, hashtag goals, let's do just a really quick round. If anybody has a professional win, Steve, I'm saving you to the end because we're going to talk lots about your wins. Anybody else have a win that they want to share
Let's see here.
at the moment?
I can raise my hand. Well, raising my hand. I have a win. I have a new client out of New Orleans. She's currently owns a supper club and is establishing a nonprofit organization. I'll be helping her with that, as well as doing getting her connected with our marketing, doing all the marketing for both. And we'll work out more details today because she just basically told me just yesterday that I'm going to do this. So I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out what we're going to do. So I'm excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's that's one win for me.
Okay, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Harris, I think last week you shared your win of putting more color on your website. And that was a win as well. But I think we shared that on last week, correct? Okay. Just trying to remember because we talked during the week as well. Awesome. Well, I know that there's other wins with other people that aren't here as well, and there's still some of them coming in. However, we have a big winner here today.
Oh boy. Yay.
Steve, I want to congratulate you for hitting your goal. He is full up on all of his clients right now. Woo, woo.
Woo. That's great.
So, last week we talked a lot about goals and planning and putting things together. And there was kind of a, both the thought, so I told you I'm starting to write down my goals every single day. Oh, you should hear the one I wrote down today. This was something different, but every day I spend a little bit of time writing out my goals. And so we talked about that. We talked about if we would do monthly planning, maybe as a group, just to, take 15 minutes and do a mini micro monthly plan kind of idea. And then we got talking with Robert, and he shared that he doesn't really do that. And then kind of as he wrapped up, he said he doesn't really do that because he's so solid on exactly what his goals are, and he's achieving them because he's so solid in what his goals are. So once you know them, but how do you get them so solid into your psyche? How do you get them into, this is what I do, this is who I am? Well, writing them out daily and making a plan weekly, daily, weekly, monthly, is where Robert was before he didn't need to do it anymore, which he doesn't now. Does that make sense? Or is that's what I heard? Anybody else want to agree with that last week? And
That's
so,
what I heard as well. I agree with you.
yeah, so I mean, there's something to that. So today I thought, with Steve Paterson, in fact, he's only going to be joining us every other week right now because he has a client that's his only chance. It's a doctor. You know how doctors are. And so Steve's here today. And Steve, I'd love to hear about your goal, about hitting your goal, and really what did you do to hit this goal? And what does it mean if you're willing to share financially or otherwise lifestyle even for
Don't
your
mind.
business? So with that, I'm going to be quiet.
So when NowSite changed their business model back in November last year to continue affiliate marketing, except for us old folks who've been doing it forever and doing that. And I had worked very diligently for 4 years, and all my planning and goals were around reaching a certain amount of residual income every month on NowSite. And working with LeAnn over the last couple of years, I was able to get to that level that I was comfortable with, and then put it into a maintenance mode. And so it's pretty much it's maintaining itself, and I don't really have to mess with it. But what I had to change my business model, and a couple of you've heard me talk about the fractional CMO model. So I started transitioning to the fractional CMO model, and I picked up initially 3 clients that I already had. I was kind of doing that kind of business anyway, and I wanted to find out how much bandwidth I had, and figured out I could do 8 accounts a month was my full bandwidth. And so I now have those 8,
Yay!
but
Good.
Congratulations.
and
Congratulations.
I have 2 that were in the queue waiting. And then I
Wow.
have the ones that I started with initially. I finished training internally. I've been working with them over a year anyway. And they are now starting on May 1st, they are taking over running everything because they have the internal resources to do it now, which enabled me to pick up another full-time CMO client, which is a construction remodeling company, and doing that. So I'm working with them right now. So you know, based on my residual income now from NowSite, as well as what I bill out at my CMO, uh, you know, I'm right around about $9,000 a month in revenue.
Ooh. And
Ooh,
and
that's
some
good.
and a lot of that is how much of that is residual?
Residual, it's almost 3.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So
Yeah.
$3,000 that's just coming in. It's just coming in. It's
Mhm.
just coming in. And on top of that, going out and finding clients and so forth, that you can within a reasonable amount of time. So, Steve, how much are you working these days?
I'm only down to about 20 hours a week now.
20
Wonderful.
hours a week. How many weeks a month?
Yeah. So I work 80 hours in a month. So I'm like, I have 80 hours off work hours and doing things, which frees me up to do things.
Yeah.
And, and so, and I have, and started as far as scheduling, and I know exactly what my week looks like. Actually, a couple months going forward now because I know when I meet with the CEOs, I know what the time span is. I know on a project basis what we're doing for each one of the clients. And LeAnn and I talked about this. So I have a set retainer amount that I charge each month, regardless of the work I do. And now, when you get a new client, it's heavy on the front end because a lot of setup and things like that. But once you get them down where all the infrastructure is built and you're only doing a few changes on email campaigns or a website, change, or we post for our clients 3 times a week. We manage all their social media, so we do everything for them. And we also do Facebook ads and Google ads for them now. And one client we're getting ready to do with the construction company, we're going to go start doing some OTT TV advertising for them and using creative there. And so, I mean, so I know exactly on my calendar is marked out like 9 o'clock for LeAnn every other week. But then the other week I've got Dr. Gulenberg, and he's locked in there for 30 minutes. But then I have work times all through that. And each work time spells out, this part of the morning is for social media posting. And, because of Now Site and the ease of it, and I go in and out of their accounts, it only takes me about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes each account to do their social posting for the day. Because I use AI. I've built, and I continue to build out their business profiles and have it learn more and more on different things and doing stuff. So I want to get to I want to get to the Hemingway business model. Do you know what that is? Hemingway used to get up every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he would write till noon, and then he would take the rest of the day off. That's where I want to get. That's my next goal, is to get that, just work mornings, and the rest of the day is mine to do what I want to do with it.
That sounds amazing. To be clear, for anybody that might be listening to the recording, CMO stands for?
Chief Marketing Officer. So our business model now is we provide fractional CMO services, which is we are like your outsourced marketing department. And we work on two business models where we actually help you create an internal marketing department eventually, like we did with the first person I talked about, or you retain us till you decide you don't want to use this anymore. It's up to you. And for a business that bills between 2 million and 5 million a year, which is our sweet target, it's a more rational business decision from an affordability standpoint to hire somebody, outsource that work and have it done for you, than to have a department and have to pay benefits, salaries, and taxes and all of this stuff.
Now, to be fair, not everybody here wants to be a CMO. And even Steve works hard to, where he can, in certain businesses, you actually spend part of your time training somebody in the business to take over the actual daily, let's call it, grind of doing the posting, where then you can step back into more of an advisor mode, like, hey, this month focus on this week focus on that, but they can take over the actual execution. Is that correct?
That's what I'll be doing in May for the account that we're turning over internally. I will meet with them twice a month, and then I'm charging them just a basic retainer fee for availability. So they have my attention. They can get a hold of me, and if they have a problem or they need to do something, or we need to do a little bit of strategizing.
Excellent. And
Steve,
we have a
OTT.
question here. Mary has her hand up.
OTT, what does that mean?
That's a new form of TV commercials. When you watch like Sling or Hulu or free ads on Amazon Prime, you can buy TV advertising on the streaming channels, and you can target it by zip code.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
But they do, and they use what your search habits are as identifiers, and so they're looking at that living room and said, "Oh, that lady just looked for car insurance, and you're an Allstate guy, so you got an OTT commercial and that thing in local commercial, and then so they all of a sudden you're watching Hulu, and his Allstate commercial will pop up because that IP address looked for something."
Excellent. Thank you.
Isn't that crazy though, you guys? Isn't that, I mean, kind of crazy and cool?
And it's inexpensive. I mean, the stuff that we're going to buy about 12 streaming channels. We're going to buy 15. No, it was 10,000 views, and the whole buy was less than $1,000.
How many views?
10,000.
Wow.
Yep. So that comes down to $10 a view, right? Am I doing it right?
Right, and it's highly targeted because it's somebody who is actually showing interest in that.
Absolutely. So, and so taking what Steve has shared, think about how you could implement something like this as well. Now, Steve, let's go back to goal setting? I mean, you mentioned that you kind of know what your life is going to look like theoretically for the next month or two. Of course, we make plans and God laughs, but um, how much are you, I mean, to get to where you've got, I think you spent quite a bit of time setting your goals and picturing where you want to go and planning it out.
Yeah, I mean, and in your business plan, you have to be flexible because it's constantly morphing. I've gone from, you know, I mean, so when I started in Outside, it was like a real networking thing. So it was very advantageous for us to build multiple levels down. And I think LeAnn remembers this. Well, what I did was I spent my time with the people I signed up, putting people underneath them instead of directly underneath me. And then they changed the compensation model, and I was all upside down. So then I had to turn around and restructure for my first level to get it all the way across to, I think it's 40, right, LeAnn? 40? All the way
Um,
across?
yeah, 40 across. Yep.
But look at that number. That's one of the numbers I really focus on. And then to get that. So then I was working towards that. So my business model was um, introducing people to an asset. How it can affect their business, how it can work with their business. All my marketing was based on that. And my goal was to at least get at one point I wanted to 3 to 4 people a week. So I was looking to sign 3 to 4 people. And that was my goal. So how am I going to get 3 people to sign up in a week? And some weeks, I mean, I remember some weeks where LeAnn and I would be like high-fiving because we would get 5 or 6 in a week, like one a day, and doing things like that. But that was my goal. But now, as Now Site's business plan morphs, and everything I do is based on Now Site because that's the platform I use. You know, it's you have to morph with it. So that's why I morphed into the CMO thing, because I was where I wanted in residual income, but I still wanted to keep busy, but I didn't want to over tax myself. And I still wanted to have time together. So what does that look like? And I pretty much found out where that is now. So, for lack of better terms, I've arrived, and I'm able to get that down to 20 hours a week. So that enables me to have, like right now, I can tell you, I'm not in my home office right now. I'm down on a friend of mine has a place down in Galveston on Tiki Island. And we're down on the water this morning. I was out having coffee out on the deck, looking over the ocean CMO. I can do everything remotely, just like these calls. So it's another part that I want to make the job as remote as possible. Now, there are 2 of my fractional CMOs who are real old school clients. They want to do face to face, and they're local. So I do meet with them and take other time, and we usually have lunch together or something like that, and I buy them lunch, and that's good. So I enjoy that social part of it. So
Yeah, absolutely. So who wants a
on that,
job that you can do from anywhere? I think
I know I
everybody,
do.
pretty
Yeah.
sure that's another,
Absolutely, yes.
oops, I think I'm over talking.
Mm-mm.
yeah, go ahead, Diane.
My video is all messed up right now. I'll be quiet.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. I really appreciate your sharing this with us today. It's a whole lot of information, but it also answers so many questions that I had, and a few that I didn't know I had. Thank you so much. And congratulations. My
The whole
sincere congratulations.
over my whole career, I mean, one thing I'm blessed with is I am able to focus and
Mhm.
able to basically look at stuff and not only focus. I'm also disciplined. I make sure I get my work done. I deliver. That's always important to me. If I give somebody a deadline, you know, I lived in a world of deadlines for 40 years, and and so it's innate me to make a deadline. So when I make a promise, I do it, regardless of. And I know there's going to be days or even weekends where something's going to happen, and I'm going to have to do some extra work. But because of my planning, there's always space for that.
Mhm.
That happen.
Yeah, I think that's imperative that that is factored in because yeah, things happen. Things happen. Um, well, that's good. Very, very good. I'm glad that I made it.
Yeah. I think I might be back. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I kind of jumped. I was pulling up that video, and on top of slow Wi-Fi, pulling up Vimeo is not recommended.
Mhm.
Because that really screwed up my whole thing. But one thing I heard Steve share here, and pay attention to this, is obviously NowSite has changed their model a lot, but also Steve has changed what he's looking for quite a bit too. I mean, even when, let's say Steve and I were able to get, say, 5 in a week. Let's say we got 5 in a week. And at that point, we didn't have a $29 offer. They were a little bit more. But we knew that over the course of the year, with the amount that we would make from each person, even those 5, if they stayed the full year, what was it going to be worth to us? Maybe, I don't know. How much would it have been? Do you remember, Steve? We calculated.
We're between $300 and $400.
Yeah, $300 to $400 per month. But how many of those weeks do you have to get it to an actual livable wage? I just did my taxes, yay, and I found out exactly how much I made again last year. Steve would know to the minute. He does this all the time. He's much better at doing the bookkeeping than I am. But when I had it all in front of me, this is what I made, this is what I spent. I'm like, okay, then. So what I made was still below poverty level, if I were trying to actually live on it. So what do you have to do to take it to another level? And
Yeah,
you,
I mean, I make more from a CMO client on a monthly retainer than I do full residual for them for a year.
yeah, exactly. And that's the point. And I think a lot of us now, we've been here, we've been doing this. We're all proficient at NowSite. We can sell it. I think it should be part of anything that we do with people. I plan to. I don't know, with 100,000 current users and millions more to come in, there's plenty of space.
Yeah, I lost her for a second.
Refining
Oh,
your
she
training
froze
for
up.
AI. What kind of things are you revising off and on? And you can do that later, or
Oh no, I'll tell you, Brian, what I do is I go in there and so I add in like, on my business profile, if I'm adding some new services like OTT, TV commercials, I add that into my business profile. You should have your phone number and your email addresses. You should have any kind of degrees you have, any kind of certifications. And all that stuff should be in your business profile because when it accesses that information to do whatever, it's a post for you or a website or whatever you want to do for yourself, it will incorporate all that information you've given it in some way or another into what you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't feed it enough. You want to constantly give it, if you have something new to do, some new service you offer, something that you've done. I mean, one of the things that I do when I ask for permission, and I think I mentioned this to you, LeAnn, when I get a new CMO client, one of the first things I do is I go to social media with their permission, and I announce we've just had them as a new client.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
when it comes to those
Yep.
new clients that you're acquiring, do you what I was understanding you to say was that you also uh constantly update their business profile for them. Is this correct? Make sure
Yes.
that it is their new clients are in it, everything is added that needs to be added
Yeah,
to
we go through, we do a full audit all the way through all the different pieces on now site. Make sure that the connected email accounts are correct, that they're still synced. Sometimes they're not synced.
yeah.
Make sure that all their social media links are in everything
Mhm.
they do. You know, it's all that detail work, including updating their business profiles and all that other stuff.
Right.
Okay.
And again, you know, me, I've done it and I don't want to do what Steve's doing. And I think I love that Steve's doing it. I don't want to do other people's social media. I've done it. I've experimented with it. Go back to last fall and I was trying it. For me and for my team, this isn't ideal for us. For Steve and what he's doing, it's perfect. So you got to find and do what works well for you. But I will say, you know, look to do something, you know, something bigger than even now. So it's generous with the 30%, but 30% of $29 is $8. If find 30% of $300 or 30% of $3,000, if you want to be an affiliate marketer, which most of us are, not all of us. Nowsite technically is not an affiliate marketing platform anymore. Some of us, like Steven and I especially, have multiple affiliate marketing things that we're talking about all the time. And by the way, that video, I did put the link in the chat now, is about me using Mimo for affiliate marketers, and just one way that I discovered that you can do that. So you're all getting that early, before I put that out on YouTube. But I'm gonna share my screen for a moment. One moment. At a gallery, and I'm gonna do a quick thing because I want to just kind of bring this home in terms of the income portion by doing a little screen share, if I can get my computer to work with me. So I've closed a bunch of stuff trying to make this work. But let's talk about, you know, if you have that client, and one thing Steve and I talked about last Friday as well is that you can have a new client, and like he said, even today, he said there's a lot of upfront work. And Steve has been doing this on a, hey, come on in, and it's a monthly retainer. And you know, you work with me for a month, and then I do all this work for you. I sync your accounts, all the stuff that he just listed. That's a lot of work. Syncing accounts, getting passwords, doing the whole setup. And by the way, you better get on their calendar a lot. Like if they hire you, you're like, great, pull out your calendar. We're marking down all the meetings right now. Because if you, and this is the mistake I've made, I will just submit it right now, in the last couple of months with my new clients, is that we didn't have it mapped out exactly when we were going to do exactly what. And now things that should have taken just a couple of weeks have now taken a couple of months. And you don't want that either, because they are paying monthly. You want them to be happy with that. But I'm going to sketch out something that might just, you know, blow some of your minds. But Steve, you're talking about a 6 month, you know, 1,500 a month. So in 6 months, that is, let me do the math, $9,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And so watch this, you all. If you want to talk about residual income, that's 9,000 over 6 months. But remember, he's doing a lot of the work up front. So I'm going to try to do some quick math in my brain because I wasn't working with 9 in my head. But we're going to do, let's see, I think we can do it this way. Okay, so we're going to do a 4,000 upfront cost, because that's what it takes to, you know, upfront that first month. This is the initial retainer, and then he has them on retainer for 1K a month for 5 more months. So the package is $9,000. And they agree to that. And if they pay 9,000 all up front, maybe he gives them a discount and he does it for 8,000 or something like that. But then he has it all in pocket right up front, which is awesome. But you know, this way, if he does 1K, and we're doing this 2 more times, how am I doing with the mouse? Pretty good, right? I'm going to get this new board I found out that you can do. It's kind of fun. But 4,000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your $9,000. And now you've retained them for 6 months. Okay, so you got 4,000 up front with one person. And what if you did that? What if you got 2 people? Because you could handle onboarding 2 people. So now you're at 8K here. and you're at 2K for each of the following months, right? And I'll just put dots over here. The next month, you've got the 2K coming in and you get 2 more clients. And those clients are going to bring in your 8K also. Month 2, you're now making 10K. And they're bringing in 2K more per month, right? Plus these are still bringing in 2K per month. Your third month, you go out and you bring in just 2 more clients. In half this, if bring in 1 client every other month, if you want to play with the numbers here, but you bring in 1, bring in 2 more the next month. Now you've got a residual, you've got an income of 12K. You bring in, you see what I'm saying? And but your main work is on 2 people. The other people are taking far less time and energy. At the end of the 6 months, they may stay with you, they may move on. Maybe maybe after their first 6 months are so good, maybe you drop the price for them to have, like Steve said, he said, kind of as an advisor. Maybe he drops it down to, $700 a month or something. I don't know, whatever. But some sort of a monthly fee just to have access to Steve, where Steve doesn't even maybe now have to actually advise them any longer. He's done the work for 6 months. He's gotten them to a particular place. So if we carry this out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more times, I mean, I'm not going to do the math all here, but you can pretty well see if we're already at 12,000 here. I don't think I'm missing it. If we go to 14 here, 16 here, 20 here, I think I'm wrong. I think there's actually more. It is way more because we're adding, there is more in here. I mean, anybody comfortable with making 20K a month in 6 months from now? Come up with your come up with your offer. What are you doing? How can you shortcut somebody else's timeline that would be worth it to them to pay you? Yep. And you do have the knowledge. Every one of us has the knowledge because we're all experts at NowSite. And NowSite is really, I love to acknowledge how much they've taught us about branding and marketing and all the other things that they've done. So, don't we may or may not be able to put on there a specific, like Steve was just talking about with our branding certifications and training and things like that. But, there are some things that NowSite has said that we can get like a code, like an affiliate. I know that they've done affiliate training. Didn't we get some sort of a recognition for going through the branding training of some sort too at some point?
There was a that you could download that was done after that they gave you.
Yeah, and they would verify, yeah, she went through the training if somebody ever looked. Nobody looks. So as far as that goes, if you know that you know because you've gone through some trainings, say that you know it. And other people who don't know it, can look to you and say, hey, that's what I need. I like this person. And it comes down to personality. There's no competition. People who want to work with Steve or want to work with me or want to work with Steven are all probably different people. I can't work with the 2 people Steve Paterson works with that want to be in person because I'm in Minnesota. But likewise, if somebody found him, but they want to work in person and they're in Minnesota, that's where we can all help each other out too. And Steve, do you still have a referral program?
Yeah,
affiliate program too?
I still pay for referrals. Yeah.
Right. So paying for referrals is another thing. So what are some takeaways as we get to, it's 9:47. What are some
You're all 3 welcome to fly out to Palm Springs, or I'll refer you companies out here. So if you need to do in-person training, there's a barbecue at my place in 29 Palm.
Excellent. Takeaways.
This has been helpful. I like the fact that everything that's been shared today is most certainly transferable. I'm working with fewer network companies and more nonprofits, but everything is transferable. It fits into my model, what it is that I'm doing, and I'm really, really pleased with the fact that the way this call has evolved, that it works that way for me, and it's going to work that way for some other leaders. So
Right.
I appreciate that.
Oh,
Now, this was great for me. It was eye-opening, and some of the clients that I'm working with are in the faith-based arena, and many of them don't have good online presence. And so wrapping around in my head how to implement uh, just what you did, it just brought clarity. So now I have to go back and revisit, what I offer to say, let me expand this to make sure that those numbers now are more, I don't want to say more doable, but meet my expectations a lot more for the work that's being done.
absolutely. Yeah. And the offer thing can be tricky.
Mhm.
Because okay, I'm just going to be really transparent here. The thought of charging thousands of dollars for something that I offer was unthinkable for me
Mhm.
relatively recently. But when I actually look at, first of all, how much have I paid into getting where I'm at? I
Yes,
have
yes,
paid thousands for sure. I've paid
yes.
thousands to lots of
Thousands.
different people for
Mhm.
sure. So how is it that they were worth it and I'm not?
Mm.
That doesn't compute. They're worth it. I'm worth it. I have all sorts of knowledge and skill and, God given, not my own, but that's why I'm here. And so how can I, how selfish am I to not charge what I'm worth and um and just give away, give away, give away. And I don't there's a lot of people out there. I had this conversation with maybe one of you, don't have to speak up, but saying, hey, look, they want everything for free. Well, great. Are they going to give everything for free too?
Mhm.
Because business isn't about giving everything for free. It's wonderful if we can get to the point that we can do some charitable stuff or give discounts for people that need it. I listened to a pricing model recently, and I have to be careful because I'm not sure how much I can reveal here. Some of this might be, I don't know how much, but I'll look into it. But some pricing thoughts that start with really what you'd like to make for what you'll do for somebody and offer that and then be quiet because some people can afford it. Don't presume they can't.
Right, right.
If they can't and you want to work with them, key point, because you're going to find people you don't want to. I have. And you want to work with them, then it's up to you to know what's your discount, what's your scholarship, what are you willing to do to make it work for them, how can you extend payments over time, different things like that. So there are ways to work with this, but also know where your bottom level is, and it should not be zero
Mhm.
unless there's an actual other benefit or trade in there that you're able to make, maybe in business or in life, then that's a valid option as well to do a trade. Any aha moments with any of that?
I will say this is right on point. One of the things God said to me some time back, He says, you're giving away your gifts and talents and then praying for your needs. So that was an eye opener for me, just what you're saying, that I am worth it and realizing that I am worth it. And the key word, like you said, is once you've put that offer out, I heard someone said, provide an offer that hurts. And like you said, be quiet. And then you wait. And if there's an issue, because you're correct, there are those who will greatly and gladly pay. But because we assume, right, and we devalue ourselves, we don't get what we ask. So we know that we have to ask and seek and knock, right? So
Ask.
if we don't ask,
Yep.
then we won't get.
Yep. There's a saying in sales as well. Steve, you may know this. When you make an offer, the person who speaks next loses
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Who speaks first loses.
first, right? Yep.
A lot of $1 million contracts on the table where there's been dead silence for like 2 minutes. And then whoever gives loses.
Yep. So if you make the offer and then you give, you lose. If you make the offer and they speak next in any way, shape, or form, they may confirm it. They may say yes. They may say no. They may say, is that your final offer? They may
It-
say a lot of things, but
When they speak, it's the beginning. It now becomes a negotiation.
that's when it begins a negotiation. Yep. It becomes a negotiation either way. If you speak first, it also starts the negotiation, but you start in the down position.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Fun,
one of the things that I've learned is when you make that offer and they say yes, you realize, wow, that offer was too low. If they immediately say yes, your offer was too low.
And that is, that has been my reality this year thus far, is offering too low, realizing it was too low especially after doing the work, but also with how quickly it was said. And that's fine. I know that there's bigger things in store. I know I'm being trained, by my Holy Father as well in ways I can go. And, for better or worse, I can only go as fast as I can go. I'm only going as fast as I'm going.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Somebody?
I was just gonna
This was great. I have to jump for a break before my next call.
Yep.
But this was a great call. Thank you all.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up then as well, and we'll be back next week. Miss you, Steve.
Okay. Go to. Bye-bye.
It's wonderful to see everyone. Yeah.
Hang on for a second, just for anybody watching the recording, come back though. We're here at 9 a.m. Central Time every Monday morning for the Joyminder Leaders League. We welcome you to be here. Of course, you can watch the recordings, but there's a lot of benefit to being here and asking questions of the other leaders that are doing what you are doing in business. So welcome back, and thanks everybody for being here today. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. Bye.